Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. Sorry about that once again. Overview for today. It's not going to be a super long class, but I just kind of wanted to make sure touched on some few details for things upcoming, and then I wanted to make sure we talked about the exam from last week. So, of course, I was able to grade everything kind of over the last couple of days since last class on Tuesday. I should have left everybody a comment in my Blackboard, or not Blackboard, excuse me, my Wartburg. I've never used that feature before, but I thought that was kind of neat, and I appreciated the kind of some of the notes that I was getting back from people. So that was good. Overall, I think it was a decent start for everybody. A few of the things that I want to kind of touch on. One, I was really hoping for kind of a more proper essay type response. I think the content that everybody was using for their responses was overall pretty good, just maybe not necessarily taken to the level of detail that I was hoping for. Okay, but I think overall, if I remember correctly, the average grade was kind of like a B, somewhere, I think it was like between an 84 and an 86, somewhere around there. So overall, decent start, but I think considering that we have a few other kind of writing assignments like that, just making sure, one, going into detail, two, make sure you're continuing to use examples. Okay, that's a really good way for me to just kind of make sure that I'm seeing some of the connections that you're making from the course material. Okay, that was the biggest thing. There were some that were just kind of, using stuff straight from the book, which was good, of course, but really it was just kind of like 2 to 3 sentences from a paragraph in the chapter, maybe not necessarily as detailed or thought-provoking as I was hoping for. But overall, decent job with that. Just next time as we progress into the second and third exam, just make sure you elaborate. Once again, I'm not wanting 3 to 4 pages per writing response. Okay, not wanting that, but bullet points definitely not acceptable. I got a few of those. And then 5 to 6 sentences per response. That's a little more short answer type response rather than an essay. 3 to 4 paragraphs would probably be pretty appropriate for each response. Okay, some went longer, that's fine. I enjoy reading, so that didn't bother me at all. Okay, that will be kind of the wrap up for the exam. Once again, I got a few kind of individual specific questions. That's fine, whether that's through the My Wartburg kind of dialogue response. The one thing to consider, I don't get an email notification if you respond to my comment. So the easiest way is just send me an email. Okay, that'll be easy. That way I can quickly get back to you. I don't check My Wartburg all that often, so just I don't want to leave you hanging if you had a specific kind of question and I didn't see it right away. I want to make sure I get back to you in a timely manner. Okay, so progressing on, once again, just email me if you have any questions about that. But overall, I was pretty fairly happy with how the first essay response exams turned out. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna start transitioning into our first interview preparation, I guess. So also, that brings up another point. In the course syllabus, I had a typo. Okay, I had us having class next Tuesday. That is a mandatory off day from the college. Okay, so there's no class on Tuesday. So essentially, I'm just flip-flopping the assignment for that day. So Tuesday is an off day. I had Thursday as the off day. The interview will take place next week, Thursday. Okay, and I'll follow up with an email once we're done with class today, kind of over the weekend as we prep for next week. Okay, but as I prepare for that, okay, I want to hear some of your feedback so far. So I have sent out a email, okay, with a Google Sheet. Okay, just kind of general questions. My friend Jenny, once again, is a marketing coordinator for NBC Sports. She lives in New Haven, Connecticut, and works in Stamford. Okay, she, good friend of mine. We went to college together, of course. She was an athlete at York as well. So pretty close friends there. She is a year ahead of me in school, but just kind of somebody that I continue to stay in contact with because we're both in the sports industry. Okay. So you can see in that Google Sheet, I see there's kind of a lot of active people in the Google Sheet, which is great. I'm going to split everybody up into 4 groups. Okay, should have 2 to 3 people in each of your breakout rooms, and I just kind of want to hear your thoughts. Okay, so make sure you look at which group you're actually in the breakout rooms. Okay, that way there's no confusion with when I call out group 1 and nobody remembers which group they're in. 2, I left you plenty of space within those groups. Just kind of jot down some notes and kind of to help me shape some of the questions I'm going to formulate for Jenny when I talk with her. Okay. You can see those. The last question, I just kind of want to get some feedback now that we're about 3 to 4 weeks. I guess technically this is this 4th week. I can't exactly remember of classes. But what's kind of been standing out to you in some of the units so far? Now that we've kind of wrapped up kind of the introductionary portion of the course, what is standing out to you? Okay. Now at the second page, okay, you don't necessarily have to do that within the next 30-40 minutes. Okay, but I have the class list for the course. Everybody's listed there. Just give me one question that you're wanting to, if you could sit down with Jenny, what's one thing that you would ask? Okay, and once again, I'll try and incorporate that into, I'll try and cover as many of those discussion questions or responses within my conversation with Jenny. Okay, so I am going to send everybody off on their breakout rooms. 8 different groups here. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. Take as much time as you need. We'll meet back here and we'll kind of have some more good discussions, okay? Jordan, are we okay? Brennan, what happened last night? The game.
We shot 16 of 60 from the field.
That'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, we were happy that we only gave up 46 or 48 points to them, but
Yeah.
when you can't score more than that, it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching the broadcast or live stream, whatever you want to call it, last night. I think men's also had a close game, right? Didn't they go in
Yeah.
overtime?
Yep, they lost in overtime.
Yeah. Who do you guys have next, Brennan?
We play Westminster tomorrow night.
Justin, did that kick you out again?
Did you say something?
Yeah, did that kick you out of the Zoom?
Yeah, I got disconnected in the middle of our discussion.
Okay. No, I wasn't sure. Yeah, that power outage or network outage has really fucked up my my internet and computer, frankly. Did that have any effect on you getting into the class portal on like Sunday?
Yeah, like my Wartburg was totally shut down.
Was
We
it?
couldn't use it.
Okay. Yeah, I knew my email wasn't working on Sunday, at least on my actual machine. I was able to get emails through my phone, but I wasn't sure if what other portions of the platform or network crashed. But at least we didn't have anything due on Sunday.
And we back. I think we lost Justin. Oh, there he is. Never mind.
Yeah, he logged back in here probably 2 minutes ago.
I heard him saying something and then he just disappeared.
That's funny. We'll go 2-3 minutes. We have about half the group back, which is fine. I don't want to interrupt good discussion.
How's the drive over to Wartburg?
Is that to me, Jack?
Yep. I don't think anyone else is driving here.
I wasn't exactly sure. It was thankfully I left kind of before it got too bad. Frankly I should probably walk to work. I only live like 900 steps, I think. But I'm from the south, so this this negative wind chill and blizzard and not great. So yeah, the next couple days are going to be interesting. I think on Tuesday of next week, thankfully we don't have class because I don't think I'm leaving my house. I think raw temp is what, like -4 or something crazy like that.
I don't know. I never check the weather, which is bad on my part.
Yeah.
So I do a little thing where you have to pay for parking, but I figured out a way to get out of it by parking. I looked at the thing that says you have to park. If you're within 2 blocks of campus, you get a parking ticket for Wartburg. So I parked 2.5 blocks away.
Fair enough.
But in the winter, I
Not so
really
great.
should be looking at the weather, else I'm screwed. So I
Yeah.
walk 2.5 blocks to my car,
Yeah.
somewhere else, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, not great. It's so funny. Like what's the parking lot over by like baseball and the soccer field? Is that D lot or B?
Yeah.
Is?
And
Like,
even like freshman and sophomore year, I always forgot about getting a parking pass. So
Yeah.
even if I did get a parking pass, I would be in D-Lo, which is further away than when I park on the.
See, what you should do is that when we have snow, you should just go park over there because your car is going to get covered anyway.
I do. I just did it.
You didn't hear that?
And I left a little snow where like the little parking pass should be, and I just undusted everything else except the little part.
Easy as that.
Yeah. I think I got it on lock where like I
Yeah.
just be aware of the weather.
Yeah. No, it's just funny to see like the number of cars over there that have like 1.5 feet, 2 foot of snow when, nobody's leaving during, January, February for the most part because we just got back. So
Yeah.
February, there's a lot of ice and snow on vehicles.
Last year I was parking on the street as well. I was not paying attention. And then I go back to my car like 2 weeks later to go like Walmart. And I saw I couldn't see my car because it was literally a snowdrift over it. And I was like, you're joking. I see I got like 3 tickets from the city, not even from Warburg.
Yeah.
It's bad.
So where'd you have to go recruit this weekend or last weekend?
Where was I last weekend? This weekend I was in Davenport. Or no, excuse me, this upcoming weekend I was in Davenport. Last weekend I was down in St. Louis. I think next weekend, Valentine's Day weekend, I'm either going to Phoenix or the following weekend to Dallas. Maybe both, kind of deciding. So I'll take some sunny weather.
Sweet.
So, no, I went to Phoenix last year and ended up getting 2 girls out of it, both 2021s. So they'll be on campus this upcoming fall. But one's from Colorado, and the other one is from Normal, Illinois. Is that a place?
Yeah. Yep. That's a place.
Pretty worthwhile trip when you can go that far and actually get some yield. So
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bring everybody back. Or is everybody already back?
How many people are supposed to be in here?
Yeah, they're starting to trickle back. We have 20, I think 25.
So 16 right now.
I just sent out a notification. We got about 60 seconds. We'll bring everybody back. Hopefully had some good discussion. Although I imagine these last groups are probably doing exactly what we were doing, just talking amongst themselves.
100% agree.
That's fine.
Andrew, I like your response in the chat, by the way.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
What did he say?
I was trying to see the rankings for chicken fingers, chicken strips, and chicken tenders because they're definitely different.
Chicken fingers, chicken strips, and chicken. Interesting. Who has
Chicken.
the best ranch?
Oh, what the?
Sorry, automated light. If I don't move around, it automatically shuts off. Sorry.
This is a hot take. Have you been to Raising Cane's?
I haven't actually.
Oh. Okay. Can't really talk about them.
Okay,
Chick-fil-A
sorry.
is superior,
Raising Cane's sauce is better than Chick-fil-A sauce, and I'm just saying it right now.
but Chick-fil-A is superior in all ways.
Okay.
Except sauce. Except sauce.
Okay, everybody's back now. We'll stick around after class if we want really into some details here, but I have my own opinions. Okay, so hopefully there was some good discussion. Let's hear from. I'm not going to pull up the Google sheet, so let's start off with group number one. What were some of the kind of the highlight and takeaways of your individual group discussion with kind of as we prep for Jenny's interview next week?
We mainly just talked about how like wide of a field sport management really is. You know, if you study business, you typically focus either on marketing or on finance or on economics or something. You don't just study business.
Right.
Sport management is such a wide field that, and you mainly just have sport management as your course or as your major. So I just wanted to know more about sport marketing and how sport marketing differs from maybe normal marketing as we think of it, and why she chose that specific part of sport management.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think, and Jenny, I'll kind of preface some things with Jenny. She has kind of a lot of unique experiences. She's had a lot of jobs, frankly. Like, I think in her, we'll just keep it simple, like 5-6 years out of college, I think she's probably had like 2 to 3 jobs already. So she's going to have a lot of excellent insight on kind of why specifically she decided to get into marketing. I think her first job, if I remember correctly, was like game day ops or like game day type promotion. So a little bit of, sorry, I just got an email. Sorry, thought that was somebody from class, but she's going to have kind of a lot of unique insight on just some different things. So that's good. Let's jump to group 8. Anybody from group 8?
So for our, there we go. We asked what led you to learn about this job and what path you took to get to this job. And then you just mentioned that she was 5-6 years out of college, so who knows how she got that job. And that's what I was just kind of curious about.
Right. Yeah, and I think, and that'll actually kind of touch on some things that I'm going to kind of go over here kind of in the last portion of class once we go through. But I think the really creative or interesting aspect of sport, there's no right or wrong way to get into the industry because it's so big. You know, but I'll kind of save the rest of that response for kind of this last portion of class. But let's go group number 2. Let's talk about that last prompt within that list. What has really kind of stood out to you over kind of the first 2-3 weeks of the course, kind of the first 3 chapters or so? What has really jumped out? Group 2. Anybody from 2?
We said the unique aspects of sports management, just like the sports marketing and the sports enterprise and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go group number 3. Same response. Or same question, rather. Group 3. Anybody from group 3?
Can you repeat your question one more time? You kind of cut out on my end.
Oh, sorry, Grayson. I wanted to hear what your group's thoughts were on that 4th response. What has kind of stood out to you from kind of the first 2 weeks of the course?
Yeah, so what we talked about was our kind of like favorite topic was the aspect of professionalism.
Okay.
So, obviously us all being kind of young people, and then obviously like one of the test questions was about, young people do in professionalism.
Right.
We thought that was kind of big. And, obviously with us kind of getting ready to enter the workforce, it's important for us to kind of have that sense of, being ready to, be the best version of ourselves going in, and how, maybe the older generation kind of looks down on us because thinking, we're young,
Right.
we're probably don't got it figured out. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually will use this as kind of a segue to move on, because I think that's a really valid point, right? Especially kind of the bit where, maybe that older generation, I think looking down upon may be a little bit harsh, but certainly kind of, I'm not exactly sure the word.
not like looking down, but kind of, like how seniors maybe kind of feel like towards
Yes.
freshmen, kind of the new ones on the block.
I know exactly what you're trying to say. But I think there's certainly some really proactive steps where you can use to really kind of distinguish yourself and really just kind of get connected. Because really, at the end of the day, I believe we talked about a little bit in chapter 2 in that unit. But if you're able to just take advantage of opportunities and really present yourself in a professional way, you're going to be able to find additional opportunities. And I think Jenny has done a really good job of that. Like, yes, she's kind of jumped around a little bit, but she's been able to find some really cool and unique opportunities as a result of some of the things that she's been able to do during her academic career, and then kind of through the early portion, first 18 months, 2 years right out of college, to ultimately, I think she's a year older than me, so she's 27, 28, and she's working for one of the biggest corporations in the world, NBC Sports. So we'll actually kind of segue off into talking about that individual assignment, okay? Once for Jenny's interview, okay? So if you want to, get out a notebook, jot some notes down. I'll recap all of this in an email, send it out, and then I'll also post it to my workbook, but whatever works for you, okay? So this interview is going to take place over this weekend, okay? I've been texting Jenny throughout the day, and she had some work stuff pop up for next week. So I am going to conduct the interview by myself, record it, and then I will post it for everybody to view in class next week, Thursday, okay? Pretty disappointed that she's not going to be able to join us live. That way I could kind of get some kind of specific interaction with you all. But to make up for it, that's why I made sure to kind of post that individual question response where you could jot down your questions. Then I can, kind of frame the conversation within using those. So please definitely take advantage of those kind of individualized questions. Just because that's going to be really specific to you and your career goals. So definitely make sure to do that. So once again, I'll be conducting this interview over the weekend. No class on Tuesday. I will just pull up the link and we'll be able to watch it together next week, Thursday. But for the interview assignment or the interview reflection, okay, that will be due Sunday, February 14th at midnight. Okay, once again, I'll send all of this to you in an email. Details for the assignment, okay, it's going to be a 4 to 5 page paper on what stood out to you, really. I will include, 3 to 4 questions kind of to get you started, but then really I just kind of want to hear your first impressions from that discussion. Jenny and I are going to be able to talk in a lot of different directions. Once again, I'm going to kind of be able to preface some things from your individual questions, but kind of the 3 areas, I guess technically 4 areas if you include kind of some of the questions. Her first experience, I wanted to talk about her sport management education experience at York. Okay, granted that's a little bit different than what you have here, but I want to hear kind of from her student perspective, right? So that'll be kind of one area. Sorry, somebody was coming up to the door. First, education experience. Second experience what does she actually do on a day-to-day basis at NBC Sports, right? Marketing coordinator, that is like the most, that's a really big blanket statement, right? But I want to actually be able to hear, some of the projects that she's been working on. She's worked at NBC Sports for, I think, like the last 12 to 18 months. So she's been there a while. Okay. I think she got the job. Actually, it was right before the pandemic. So it was like January of last year, kind of right after the holiday period. So she's been there 12 months. She's had some pretty unique experiences with COVID and everything. So kind of want to be able to hear that. And then third, kind of the third area of the discussion that I'm going to have with Jenny is going to be what, bits of information would she like to pass on to that next generation of, people coming into the sport industry, you guys, right? So, and then the fourth, of course, will be kind of fielding specific questions. So those are kind of the four generic areas, but I really want to just be able to hear the connections, what stood out to you, and what specifically, you took away from that conversation. So once again, when I create the actual assignment, information sheet, we will be able to, I'll kind of come up and put some initial questions down to, kind of get you starting. You were started on that assignment as you type, but then ultimately, you can kind of, I like having these broad generic assignments because I want your creativity to come out and go in a lot of different directions. Okay, so once again, 4 to 5 page paper on it. Now, I am going to implement a title page. Okay, so like 4 to 5 full pages of content itself, not like on the first page where, your name, the class, your birthday, your student ID number takes up half of the page and then you start. Okay, 4 to 5 pages of pure content plus a title page. And I'll be able to, I'm going to share my screen and kind of show you what I'm looking for. I personally prefer kind of an APA style format. So title of the assignment, Jenny Hinkle interview reflection would go here. Your individual name would go here. PE 300, the date, and then of course institution there. Okay, I'll make sure to post this in the email and on my Wartburg as I start to post that stuff for next week. Okay, so title page and then 4 to 5 pages of content. Okay, what initial questions can I answer right now? Anything now that I've kind of gone through and outlined a few kind of the big points, what the format is going to be, what questions can I answer? Feel free to type them in the group chat as well over on the site. I can respond to that as well. I'll go like 5-10 more seconds of an opportunity to field questions, and then I'll move on to kind of like the little bit more network and personal branding type stuff that I want to cover today. Anything at all? No? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Once again, feel free to send something in the chat. I check that periodically through class as well. Okay, but moving on, something that is really going to help young people like yourself get connected and start establishing a network is just kind of building your personal brand. Okay, I think especially within this, there are a lot of different, ways to go about it, and there's no right or wrong answer, but certainly one of the tools that you can use to help communicate your brand is LinkedIn. Okay, so I'll kind of go through some different things on that, and my thought is, okay, I'm going to take like the last 10-15 minutes. the next 10 to 15 minutes, kind of go through some things. I'll be able to answer some questions, and then kind of over the next 3, 4, 5 days, certainly by the time next week. Sorry, it shut off on me again. Certainly kind of over the next week or so, to be able to, one, add me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably one of my favorite social media type platforms. Okay, I'm a big user of LinkedIn. You can add me, and because you add me on LinkedIn, you're going to be able to actually add the 4 interviewees, Jenny, Sarah, Ben, and Travis. You're going to be able to add them as a part of your network. Okay, that's the idea. So marketing is something that companies and organizations and institutions spend millions of dollars on, okay, each year as they go through. And feel free to take notes on this as well. I'm not going to specifically post this online just because I kind of rough hand everything handwritten, so it's going to be a little difficult to post. But definitely take some notes on kind of some of the things that you should really look for. Well, first, just kind of a quick show of hands. How many people actually are on LinkedIn currently? Okay, so I think 10 or so, 5, 10 people, which is fine. Okay, one of my professors in college, that was, he did the exact same thing that I'm trying to do. We dedicated a day in class, kind of talked about some different things. And LinkedIn, certainly, that was back in 2013. Well, I think when I joined LinkedIn. LinkedIn has certainly really evolved, but it's an incredibly useful tool to be able to start connecting with people and establishing your network. Okay, so because companies, spend millions of dollars on different marketing techniques and marketing strategies, there's no reason why we as individuals shouldn't be able to do the same, right? And I think overall that was the whole idea of LinkedIn, okay? Being able to, communicate your personal image, okay, your personal brand, what your interests are, what your professional goals and aspirations are. LinkedIn is a tool to be able to communicate that with other professionals, okay? Now, one of my pet peeves is people that use LinkedIn as, like an Instagram page or something like that, okay? Definitely keep it within kind of the professional sector, okay? But for me, I use it as purely a networking tool, okay? Being able to connect with people I have met when I'm out. Some of the guys that came back a little early from their breakout rooms today was like, okay, well, where were you recruiting last weekend when you were out of town? Where are you going this next weekend? Whatever. If I'm sitting out on the side of a soccer field, okay, and I just randomly start talking with somebody, first thing I do at the end of the day, I'm going to look them up on LinkedIn and try and add them to my network, just because, especially for me, I grew up in the South. I went to kind of the mid-Atlantic area for college, Pennsylvania, Baltimore for grad school. My professional network up until 2017, 2018, when I moved to Iowa, is out on the East Coast. So I need to work harder to build my network here in the Midwest. Now, I've been here for, I think this is my 3rd, 4th year at Wartburg. So it's certainly started to grow, but I had to invest the time to be able to do it. So couple different things that you need to consider when kind of setting up a LinkedIn profile. Okay, and once I'm done kind of breezing through these kind of 10 things that I think are pretty important, I will show you what my LinkedIn profile looks like. I have it pulled up on the internet. I'll share my screen. Once again, don't hesitate to add me once you actually get up and running. I want to be a part of your network, okay? Don't be afraid to add your other teachers, other administrators here at Wartburg, okay? That's what it's for. They're not going to think it's weird. But first, images and pictures on your page, okay? We went back, going back to, I believe it was chapter 2 before we started talking about Mr. Spalding and his sporting goods, making sure that you have a picture that's going to present yourself as a good professional, right? Maybe shouldn't necessarily choose a picture where, you're, in a hoodie with the hood pulled up, a baseball cap, something like that. Try and choose a professional picture. Okay. We have some athletes in here. See if you can't track down one of your headshots, okay, that you've used for the Wartburg page. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Or if you have some other stuff that you can use, that's good as well. Okay. Make sure you're using a good and accurate heading. Okay. Once you get into LinkedIn, it's very similar to Facebook, where you have your profile picture and then it kind of has that about section. Okay. There you're able to post some different things and say, hey, I am a student athlete at Wartburg College. I am a junior engineering major, and I am very interested in pursuing a career in mechanical engineering, whatever. You get the idea, right? But if you don't insert that in, if you're connecting with people, okay, and they're just looking at your photo, they're not really going to understand what it is you're trying to ultimately get to, right? Or what area within sport management you're wanting to pursue. Okay, so, really make it, dummy proof, really. Just use good language, make sure you lay it out in a way that's going to represent yourself and ultimately what you want to pursue as a professional. Okay. Third one, certainly building make sure you're using buzzwords. Okay. Leader is a really good buzzword as you're going through and kind of creating that opening elevator pitch, okay, in yourself or of yourself in that, the kind of the intro page of LinkedIn. Make sure you're hitting some of those really key buzzwords, okay? Leader, student, dedicated to learning, finding opportunities, all of those things that, kind of the same type language that employers are using on job descriptions. Make sure you're hitting some of those buzzwords as well, okay? Because the more that you're able to kind of align yourself with some of those career paths, okay, certainly those are going to be important as recruiters start to go through and, looking to fill positions, okay? Expand your network. Don't hesitate to reach out. Okay. On LinkedIn, it is not weird to send somebody, an invitation to connect if you haven't met them. It's not weird. Okay. People do it all sorts of ways. You have small business owners that, have a really cool product. They'll send you an invitation. Okay. If you, are wanting, we'll relate it back to our course. If you have somebody in mind, let's say you want to talk to somebody that works in the front office of a sporting team's organization, maybe start to do some research within that. Okay. Start to connect with some people, draft out a message and say, hey, I'm a second year, business sport management major at Wartburg College. I have an assignment where I'm wanting to, or where we have to interview somebody for a class. I'd love to be able to set up a time to connect with you and, pick your brain a little bit. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what LinkedIn is for. It's for connecting and establishing professional relationships with people. Okay. Endorsements. There's an endorsements page down at the bottom. Okay. If you are really talented at graphic design, marketing, that type of stuff, okay, put down graphic design as something that you're talented at, okay? As you start to build a reputation within the industry, people are going to be able to say, hey, I have worked with this person and they did an awesome job as they were, establishing graphics for my marketing plan, okay? All of those different types of things can be used on LinkedIn, okay? And as you gain more experience, as you become a professional, okay, those lists are going to expand, okay? And it's important to be able to communicate that when, let's say you're 2 years out of school, you're doing a really good job at an entry-level position and you're working in an organization and your name was dropped in a meeting, 1 or 2 levels above you, and say, hey, this person is really crushing it right now. And ultimately, maybe somebody from another company is going to reach out to you because your name was dropped in a meeting. That stuff happens. It definitely does. Okay. Showcase something that you're passionate about. Okay. As you become a professional, okay, there's going to be countless examples of like continuing education that you're going to be able to do. Okay. Whether that's seminars, whether that's, additional courses or trainings that you have. If you're a computer science guy and you are learning this high tech, JavaScript, whatever, put that down there. Okay. Put it on your page. That stuff matters. Okay. I have a few examples of that on my page when I show you. Okay. Share and interact with others. Okay. As people start to, share their experiences, and I'll be able to give you an example of this with somebody I'm connected with, another classmate of mine. But as people start to post different things, different interactions that they've had, feel free to comment on it, right? Share your interest in that particular post. Okay, whether that's just a simple like, or hey, this project that you're working on looks great, keep up the good work. Little stuff like that are just ways to continue to interact with people within your network. And I think the biggest takeaway that I want you to have from kind of this 15-20 minute conversation about networking is the more active and proactive you are, the more your network is going to be able to expand. Okay. And at different points within the book, okay, they have talked about how the sports industry can sometimes be a closed industry, right? Where if you don't necessarily have a personal connection to a company or a specific, contact within a job industry, you may not get a sniff at a available position. Okay, that's just kind of the reality of the sport world. Okay, but LinkedIn is a tool to be able to kind of bridge some of those gaps. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and kind of be able to give you a few examples of what my LinkedIn profile looks like. And by no means is mine stellar, okay, but I think it's decent, okay? So good professional picture there, okay? I believe that was, I'm not wearing the same outfit, although very similar. The vest is the same, but everything else is different, okay? Job title here, okay, I'm the first assistant women's soccer coach and instructor of health and human performance here at Wartburg, hence why I'm teaching you. Okay, kind of that about section. A few quick things that I have kind of done in my professional career since I've been coaching for 4 or 5 seasons. Okay, talking about kind of my education background here. Okay. Master's degree in exercise science and athletic administration. Okay. Scrolling all the way down, this is just kind of almost like a resume in a way, right? Kind of listing some of the positions that I have had, some of the additional work that I do outside of Wartburg. Okay, I'm a staff coach with a couple other soccer organizations within the state. Okay, talking about my graduate assistant positions at McDaniel. Okay, yes, I was working only with the men's team, but I was a women's soccer volunteer assistant coach as well. On the women's side, I was going to their practices right after, the men's sessions, and ultimately My first professional job was a graduate assistant on the men's side. I'm working in women's sports now. I'm a women's soccer coach right now. So you can see that experience certainly allowed me to kind of shift over. And then this was during my senior year of college. I actually interned here at York, and I can kind of tell you more about that later in one of the other units. But education experiences, scrolling down, these are some of the license and certifications and trainings that I have taken. Okay, one, I've taken 2 classes that are very specific to the soccer world. Okay, my advanced national and national diploma within the United Soccer Coaches Association organization. Okay, and I recently acquired my USA weightlifting certification. So this one here allows me to work with my team in the weight room during the off season. Okay, just like the football coaches here. Okay, they're certified as well. They're able to work with their athletes year round. I wanted to be able to do that as well. Okay, some of the skills and different things that people have endorsed me on. Coaching, of course. Soccer, of course. Okay, sports, athletics, event planning, different things like that. Okay. And then down at the bottom, these are some different, generic pages that you can follow. Okay, Simon Sinek, he's an author. He posts some pretty cool content on YouTube as well, kind of TED Talk material type. Okay, companies that I'm interested in: Nike, IMG, UEFA, FIFA, NCAA. Of course, I work here, the FA in England. Okay, McDaniel College, my school institutions, USA Triathlon. I'm a Ironman triathlete. I train and compete within those. Cycling, soccer, more soccer, outdoor companies. Okay, I'm really into hiking, fishing, hunting, some of that type of stuff. Okay, Sitka, Sims, some more soccer organizations. I actually interviewed with them back in 2016, right out of as I was applying for some different jobs. Hurricane Junior Golf Tour is one of the leading youth golf organizations in the world, hosting tournaments for elite youth players. I interviewed with them, ultimately turned it down because I got the job here at Wartburg. But it's always good to stay connected with people that you interview with. Rush Soccer, Iowa Soccer, a couple of groups and organizations that I am part of now as a coach. I actually played for Rush out in Virginia when I was a young athlete in high school. Zwift, you get the idea. Okay, but some of those companies are pretty unique to me. Okay, Sims fly fishing stuff. I'm a pretty big fly fisherman. Sitka, camo, different things like that. I enjoy hunting, different stuff like that. So companies that are relevant to me and my personal interests, okay, I like seeing what types of things that they're posting, okay? So those are just kind of some quick general ideas on, or my thoughts on LinkedIn, how you can use it, how you can connect with people. Once again, it's a very useful tool, and especially as young people that are wanting to work in the sport industry, definitely take advantage of it. It's an awesome resource. It's free. Definitely add me to your LinkedIn network once you get it up and running, or if you already have one, feel free to add me, okay? Because once you add me, you're going to have the ability to add everybody within my network, right? Maybe not necessarily, probably wouldn't want to add everybody in my network, but certainly, Jenny, Sarah, Ben, and Travis, the people that are going to be speaking with us, definitely feel free to add them, okay? I've talked to all of them already about doing a interview for the class, okay? So that is everything I have for you today, okay? 25 minutes early, which is great. I will stick around for the next 15, 20 minutes if you have individual questions or anything you need. So hi, everybody. So yeah, you are free to go. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a good one. We'll see you next week, Thursday.